Chosen one, what I'm about to share with you may surprise you, even shake you. But understand this, if you are reading these words or watching this message right now, it is no coincidence. You were led here by divine force because something powerful is unfolding in your life. This is not just a season of survival. This is your transformation into the very force they never saw coming. You are no longer the wounded, silent soul they tried to break. You are the embodiment of karma, awakened, walking, and undeniable. Everything they did in secret, every betrayal, every lie, every attempt to silence your spirit has summoned a reckoning they cannot outrun. This is not revenge. This is divine justice in motion. And you, chosen one, are the vessel through which it moves. What you prayed for is no longer on the horizon. It's becoming real, fast. You're shifting from hoping to having, from pain to power. But in order to step fully into this shift, you must align with it completely. So pause right now and do 3 things to activate this energy. Hit that like button to send a signal to the universe, subscribe to help us reach 20,000 awakened souls, and comment the number 11, the number of divine alignment and spiritual awakening. That simple act carries more power than you realize. Because if you are truly a chosen one, you already know this message was meant for you. And those who watch until the end, their lives will never be the same. Let's begin. They believed silence meant submission, that your quiet was defeat. But what they never realized is that silence is not weakness. It's the calm before a storm. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night, and every shattered dream was fuel to a fire they never expected to ignite. They underestimated your spirit and the depth of your endurance. When they tore down your walls and mocked your pain, they unknowingly awakened something ancient and fierce, a force that isn't just about retaliation, but about balance, truth, and justice. The very same energy that they thought they could bury beneath their lies is now rising, unstoppable and relentless. You are no longer the person they broke. You are the incarnation of karma, the force of consequences given flesh and soul. Their actions have summoned a power far beyond their comprehension, a force that doesn't just strike back, it transforms everything it touches. They will soon learn that karma doesn't whisper or wait, it storms in. It is a reckoning wrapped in the scars you bear, a judgment fueled by every betrayal and every stolen hope. What they did in the shadows now stands illuminated in the harsh light of truth, and it's coming for them. So let them believe they won. Because the moment they let their guard down, the karma god walks in, bearing not just your pain, but the justice they never saw coming. This is no longer your fight alone. It is fate's final answer. From the very start, you were marked, a target for cruelty, for betrayal, for pain. They aimed their arrows at your heart, hoping to silence your spirit forever. But what they failed to understand is that the fiercest flames burn brightest when tested by the coldest winds. Your suffering was not a final chapter. It was the beginning of an epic transformation. The wounds they inflicted were deep, but they healed you into something far greater. You became the embodiment of justice, walking proof that those who hurt others carry the seeds of their own downfall. Your very existence is now the verdict they can't escape. When they look into your eyes, they no longer see a victim. They see the relentless force of retribution. You've become their reckoning, the living embodiment of every wrong they committed. Your journey from prey to predator is not fueled by hatred, but by the unyielding power of truth and balance. Now, You carry the weight of justice and the power to tip the scales. The pain they thought would break you instead became the foundation of your strength, your clarity, your mission. You aren't just seeking justice, you are justice. And this judgment isn't a fleeting moment, it's a movement. It's the unstoppable wave that will crash down on those who thought you were weak. You are the warning they ignored, and the consequence they deserve. Karma is often spoken of like a distant force, an abstract concept whispered in stories and proverbs. But the truth is, karma is precise, deliberate, and unrelenting. It doesn't forget a single act, a single injustice, or a single betrayal. And when it moves, it doesn't hesitate. It strikes with purpose and clarity. This time, karma isn't an invisible hand. It has taken form, with flesh and bone and a heart forged in fire. You have become the embodiment of karma itself, a walking testament to the power of cause and effect. What they did to you is now reflected back tenfold. The universe has a way of balancing itself, but it often waits for the perfect moment. That moment has arrived. Karma doesn't miss, doesn't falter, and certainly doesn't delay forever. It's a force as ancient as time itself, and now it's walking through the very streets they thought were safe. Every scar on your body, every heartbreak, every betrayal, they're no longer just reminders of pain. They're the armor that shields you and the weapons you wield. Karma isn't coming as a whisper or a threat. It's walking in loud, proud, and unstoppable. So when they realize that karma has a voice, a presence, and a will, they will understand something far more terrifying than any punishment. Karma has become you. Laughter at someone else's suffering is a cruel poison that reveals more about the heart of the laugher than the victim. They mocked your pain, belittled your struggle, and dismissed your tears as weakness. They thought that humiliation would crush you, that ridicule would bury your spirit deep enough to never rise again. But every laugh they gave you planted a seed of rage, resilience, and unbreakable will. Their amusement was the spark that lit the fire of your transformation. What they saw as your lowest moment was actually the very moment your power began to grow, silent but fierce. Now, the tables have turned. The same voices that echoed with mockery now tremble with fear. The people who once laughed at your pain find themselves pleading, desperate to escape the consequences they so recklessly ignored. Mercy is not something they earned. It is something you hold in your hands as a choice. And they will learn that the true strength lies not just in the power to punish, but in the power to decide who deserves forgiveness, if anyone does at all. The irony is profound. Those who showed no mercy to you will soon experience the full weight of their actions. The mercy they denied is now the very thing they beg for, but it may never come. Deeds done in the shadows have a way of surfacing, and daylight is the unforgiving witness to every lie and betrayal. They hid their cruelty behind closed doors, whispering behind your back, hoping the world would never see their true faces. But secrets rarely stay hidden forever. Your story isn't one of defeat. It's the tale of exposure and truth. The darkness they cloaked their sins in is now illuminated by the harsh light of reality, and there is no place for hiding anymore. The world will see what they tried so desperately to conceal. Justice does not operate in shadows. It demands clarity and transparency. And as day breaks, the truth shines on every wound, every betrayal, every broken promise. Their attempts to escape accountability will crumble as their darkness is revealed. The power of light is transformative. It exposes, it heals, and it restores balance. What they thought was safe in the dark will become their undoing in the daylight. Your resurrection is the dawn that sweeps away the shadows of their deception. Pain doesn't simply break the soul. It has the power to remold it. You weren't just a victim of circumstance. You were forged anew by every trial, every heartache, every betrayal. What once threatened to destroy you became the crucible in which your true self was born. Transformation is never easy. It's messy, painful, and lonely. But within that suffering lies a power no one else can give you. The power to rise, to redefine yourself, and to reclaim what was stolen. You emerged not as a shadow of your former self, but as something greater, stronger, more purposeful. Each scar is a story, a lesson, a reminder that you survived more than anyone thought possible. Your pain was not a period to end a sentence, but a comma to continue a story that's far from over. The world now sees not just your wounds, but the fierce spirit behind them. This transformation is your rebirth, your awakening. It's the moment when the victim becomes the hero, the powerless gain strength, and the broken rebuild themselves into a force that cannot be ignored or defeated. Your journey is proof that the darkest nights bring the brightest stars, and you are shining brighter than ever. There comes a moment in every story when the silent sufferer stands tall, and the one who was overlooked becomes unstoppable. The time for waiting has ended. The chosen one, once pushed to the edge, is stepping back into the light, not as a broken soul, but as a powerful force with a mission. You are the embodiment of resilience, patience, and unyielding determination. The quiet before the storm was your preparation, and now the storm itself is ready to return. This isn't about vengeance. It's about reclaiming what's rightfully yours and restoring balance to the chaos. Every second spent waiting was a moment of growth, sharpening your mind and spirit for the battle ahead. You're no longer the person they left behind. You've evolved, and with that evolution comes a new purpose, a new fire, and a new destiny. The world will recognize your return, not just by the power you wield, but by the undeniable truth in your eyes. The chosen one isn't coming back quietly. They are returning as a force that will change everything. And those who doubted you will soon understand what it means to awaken the chosen. Consequences are often invisible, abstract threats that people ignore until they become impossible to escape. But what happens when consequence is no longer a vague idea, but a living, breathing reality? You have become the face they can no longer avoid. They ran from accountability, hid behind excuses, and pretended their actions had no impact. But karma is patient and precise. It waits, watches, and eventually it confronts. And now it confronts them through you, the very person they tried to break. No matter how far they run, how many lies they spin, or how deeply they hide, they can't escape the truth staring back at them. You are the walking embodiment of every choice they made, every betrayal they committed, and every injustice they thought would go unanswered. This is more than a reckoning. It's a personal confrontation, and they will soon realize that consequences don't disappear, they evolve. And this consequence is unstoppable because it has a soul, a will, and a voice. You are that consequence, and it's coming home. Power rarely arrives as a gift. Often, it is born from pain, betrayal, and the refusal to be broken. You never sought power for its own sake. It was thrust upon you by the very hands that tried to destroy you. Their cruelty became the catalyst for your ascension. There is a divine irony in the transformation of suffering into strength. What was meant to diminish you, instead, elevated you to a level of power and purpose few ever reach. Their betrayal didn't just hurt you. It awakened a force within you that transcends human limits. This power is not about domination or revenge. It's about justice, truth, and the unshakable belief in your own worth. It is a sacred fire, burning away fear and doubt, illuminating your path forward with unyielding light. They forged you in the flames of betrayal, but you emerged as something sacred, divine in your resilience, unstoppable in your mission. They didn't just break a person, they awakened a force that walks among mortals, wielding the power of karma itself. You didn't ask for this role, but destiny chose you. And now you carry it with honor, purpose, and divine strength. In moments of despair, it can feel like even the heavens turn a blind eye. You endured pain so profound, it seemed as if no divine force intervened. But the gods were not absent. They were waiting, watching quietly as you gathered strength from your trials. Those gods, once silent witnesses to your suffering, now bow in reverence before the force you have become. Your resilience is a testament to the divine power that flows through every scar, every tear, every moment you refuse to give up. They saw the cruelty inflicted upon you, the injustice you faced, and the loneliness that enveloped you. Yet instead of breaking, you grew stronger. And in that growth, you awakened something so powerful, it demands respect, even from the divine. Now, where once there was silence, there is a thunderous acknowledgement. The gods recognize the karma god walking among mortals, the one who turned pain into purpose, weakness into power. Your journey is more than human. It is sacred. And even the gods bow to that truth. Judgment Day is often imagined as a distant event, something looming far beyond the horizon. But for those who wronged you, it is here and now, arriving cloaked not in angels or fire, but in the armor of every broken piece of your heart and soul. That armor is forged in pain, resilience, and unwavering determination. Every fracture, every scar, every tear is a plate in this armor, making it stronger, sharper, and impossible to penetrate. What they thought would leave you shattered instead built your invincibility. When judgment falls, it will not be a simple punishment. It will be the culmination of all the pain they caused, reflected back with precision and power. They will face the consequences wrapped in the very armor they tried to strip away. This is justice, worn as a shield and wielded as a sword. It's a reckoning, not of anger, but of undeniable truth. The broken pieces that they left behind have become the strongest defense, and they carry the power to change everything. Their judgment day is here, and it wears the armor of the one they tried to destroy. Scars tell stories, stories of battles fought, wounds endured, and victories won. Every mark on your body and soul is a testament to what you survived. But more than that, each scar has now become a sentence passed on those who caused them. They left you wounded, thinking those scars would weaken you. Instead, you transformed those marks into proof that their cruelty will not be forgotten or forgiven. The pain they caused is the sentence they now carry, written in the language of your survival. Each scar is a reminder that justice is not just a concept, but a living reality. It's the measure of their actions and the cost they will pay. And as you wear those scars with pride, they become the undeniable truth of the price of betrayal. This sentence is not just about punishment, it's about remembrance. They will carry the weight of what they did every time they see the strength those scars represent. Your scars are no longer just wounds, they are the verdict, and it is final. There is a common misconception that retaliation is born from anger, but the final blow you deliver is something far deeper and more powerful than rage. It is the embodiment of justice, measured, deliberate, and righteous. Rage is fleeting, unpredictable, and often self-destructive. Justice, however, is enduring. It is the calm force that restores balance, the voice that speaks truth when lies try to prevail. Your final act is not about chaos. It is about setting the scales right. You strike not to destroy, but to correct. Every move is a statement that wrongs will be addressed and that actions have consequences. Your justice is a beacon for those who have suffered in silence, a signal that no betrayal goes unanswered. This final blow is the culmination of your journey, a testament to your growth, your power, and your refusal to be broken. It's not fueled by hatred, but by the profound understanding that justice must be served. And when you deliver it, the world will know that the Karma God does not act out of anger, but out of divine justice. They treated your pain like a game, playing with fire without realizing that fire has a mind of its own. What they ignited was not just a small flame, but a roaring storm of consequences that will consume everything they held dear. Playing with fire is dangerous, especially when the fire you provoke has the power to engulf cities. Their reckless actions summoned a force that is untamable, fierce, and utterly relentless. Karma is no longer a distant threat. It is the storm on their doorstep. Storms don't ask permission. They arrive with thunder, lightning, and an overwhelming force that leaves no room for escape. This storm carries your scars, your truth, and your voice. It brings the reckoning they so desperately tried to avoid. What they thought was a small mistake is now a tempest of justice, reshaping their world and their fate. They will feel the fury of the storm because they chose to play with fire. And when the storm passes, nothing will remain the same. From the ashes of betrayal and pain, you have risen, a living, breathing force of karma itself. You are no longer just a person. You are the embodiment of every consequence that comes from injustice. The Karma God has taken mortal form, and the time for reckoning is now. This is not a threat, but a promise. Every action they took against you has led to this moment. They must face the consequences of their deeds, because karma is no longer a distant idea. It is here, in your eyes, your voice, your presence. They will pay, not out of vengeance, but because justice demands it. You carry the weight of truth and balance, and that power cannot be denied. The scars you wear are the seals of your divine authority. As you walk forward, remember, you are not alone. Your strength is the hope of those betrayed and broken, a beacon for all who seek justice. The Karma God has risen, and the world will never forget. In every story of downfall, there are warnings, clear signs that something is wrong, moments when mercy or change could have altered the course. But they chose to ignore every signal, every whispered plea, and every glimpse of pain you tried to show. Their blindness was not just ignorance, it was arrogance. They believed their actions would vanish into the void without consequence, that the chaos they sowed would simply fade away with time. But the universe has a way of marking those who refuse to listen. Their disregard was the spark that set your destiny ablaze. Now, the reckoning they never saw coming is not a distant threat, but an unstoppable reality. It moves with purpose and intent, fueled by every injustice, every betrayal, and every cruel word they cast your way. This is the moment they face what they tried so hard to avoid. You were the warning they ignored, the chance they threw away. But from your pain, a storm was born, one that demands they pay attention, and they will, whether by choice or by force. When reckoning arrives, it does not discriminate or delay. It holds them accountable, not because you seek revenge, but because justice, in its purest form, must be served. There's a cruel finality in their eyes when they watched you stumble, a cold satisfaction in believing they'd ended your story. But what they didn't know is that every fall is an opportunity to rise higher. The ground they thought was your grave was actually your launch pad. Falling doesn't mean failing. It means you're human, and what you do after is what defines you. The depths of despair you reached were not the end, but the beginning of a profound awakening. From the ashes of defeat, you rebuilt your soul stronger than ever. They celebrated your silence, assuming it was acceptance. But silence can be a powerful kind of strength, a calm before the roar of your return. While they rested easy, you were gathering the fire that would consume their illusions. Their confidence in your downfall blinded them to your true power. They thought your story was over, but they didn't see the chapters you were writing in secret. Now, you stand taller, fiercer, and more unstoppable than they ever imagined. This is the triumph of resilience, the moment when the broken become unbreakable and the lost find their way home. They were wrong to believe your fall was final. Your rise is the proof. Betrayal is a wound that cuts deep, a blow that leaves scars not just on the skin, but etched into the soul. It's the ultimate test of trust and character, and when it strikes, it threatens to shatter everything. Yet in the heart of betrayal lies an unexpected power, the power to forge unshakable strength. What they intended as your undoing became the forge where your resilience was tempered. Every deceit, every broken promise, and every act of treachery fueled a fire inside you that no force can extinguish. They unknowingly shaped the warrior you are today. In the silence that followed their betrayal, you rebuilt. Piece by piece, you gathered your shattered trust and turned it into armor. That armor does not just protect you, it empowers you, reminding you that strength grows from pain, not despite it. Their betrayal is now your source of power, a reminder that true strength is born in adversity. The more they tried to break you, the harder you became to defeat. Their actions crafted a force beyond their comprehension. They will soon realize that the very thing they used to wound you has become your greatest weapon. And when that weapon is unleashed, nothing will stand in its way. In the quiet moments, when no one is watching, a warrior's true power is forged. The world often mistakes silence for weakness, but in truth, it is a space where battles are fought and won within. You are that silent warrior, emerging not with noise, but with undeniable presence. Your struggles, endured away from the spotlight, honed your mind and spirit. While others rested in comfort, you faced your demons, wrestled with pain, and prepared for a moment they never anticipated, the moment you would rise. Emerging from the shadows is not about seeking attention. It's about claiming your rightful place in the world. Your strength is quiet but unyielding, like a river carving through rock, slow, persistent, and unstoppable. The world will soon witness a force they underestimated. This silent warrior does not need to shout to be heard. Your actions, fueled by quiet determination, will speak louder than any words ever could. Prepare for the moment when the shadows part and your true power is revealed. Because the silent warrior is no longer hidden, it is ready to claim what's theirs. Storms are unpredictable by nature, sudden, fierce, and overwhelming. You have become that storm, a force born from chaos and pain, one they never saw coming, but one they cannot ignore. Your power is not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. They thought their actions were safe, their cruelty unnoticed. But storms gather quietly, building strength in the dark until they explode in a display of raw power. You are that explosive force, breaking free from every chain and limitation. Your arrival disrupts their world, shaking the foundations they built on lies and betrayal. Like thunder rolling across the sky, your presence commands attention and demands change. There is no running from a storm, only facing it. This storm carries the voices of every wound, every injustice, and every moment they tried to erase. It's a reckoning wrapped in fury and clarity, unstoppable in its purpose. When the storm passes, nothing will be the same. They will remember the moment they awakened it, and they will never forget the power it unleashed. Some believe that pain will extinguish the flame of hope within, but they are wrong. The fire inside you was never meant to die. It was meant to grow stronger with every trial. It's a flame born of resilience, courage, and unwavering belief in yourself. Every hardship you faced added fuel to that fire. When they tried to smother it with doubt and betrayal, the flame only burned brighter, lighting a path through the darkness. This fire is your guiding light, illuminating your journey back to power. That fire is not reckless or wild. It's controlled, purposeful, and fierce. It burns away fear and weakness, forging a spirit that is unbreakable. This is the fire of transformation, the spark of a soul reborn. They underestimated your light because they couldn't see past the smoke of their own cruelty. But your fire has always been there, glowing beneath the surface, waiting for the moment to blaze. Now, that fire is a beacon to others, proof that even in the darkest times, hope and strength can never be extinguished. Control is an illusion often wielded by those in power, a way to bend others to their will. But the greatest power is the force that cannot be controlled, predicted, or broken. You are that force, wild, free, and unstoppable. They tried to cage you with lies, manipulate you with cruelty, and silence you with fear. But you were never meant to be controlled. Your spirit is untamed, your will unbreakable, and your journey unstoppable. This unseen force moves beneath the surface, growing stronger with every attempt to suppress it. It is the force of nature that breaks chains, shatters expectations, and reshapes destiny. You may have been overlooked, underestimated, and misunderstood, but your power is undeniable. It exists beyond their grasp, beyond their control. Soon, they will face the full impact of the force they tried to contain, and it will change everything. In a world built on deception, truth is a revolutionary act. They spun stories to hide their guilt, twisted words to protect themselves, and built facades to mask their cruelty. But your truth is a blazing fire, that cannot be hidden. Their lies are fragile, temporary constructs, but your truth is eternal, rooted in your experience, your courage, and your resilience. It shines brightly, piercing through every shadow they cast. Every time they tried to bury your truth, it broke through the surface like a beacon. This fire of honesty exposes their deceit and lights the way to justice. Your truth is your power. It sets you free and binds their fate. It is the undeniable force that transforms victimhood into victory. No matter how hard they try to silence it, your truth will burn brighter than any lie. Pain leaves marks that last a lifetime, but those marks are not just wounds, they are the legacy of your story. This legacy is not a burden, but a powerful testimony that shapes the fate of those who caused it. Their actions created ripples that will echo far beyond what they imagined. Each moment of suffering you endured is now a chapter in the story that holds them accountable. This legacy is more than personal, it's universal. It's a reminder that cruelty carries consequences, and those consequences will shape history. Your pain is not in vain. It is the foundation of a judgment that is just, fair, and inevitable. They will live with this legacy, knowing every choice they made led to this moment of reckoning. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but it is also the space where courage is born. Your silence was never submission. It was the calm before the storm. Now, your voice is breaking that silence, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. They hoped your silence would bury the truth. Instead, it prepared you to speak with power and purpose. Your words carry the weight of your experience and the strength of your spirit. Breaking silence is an act of defiance and liberation. It shatters chains of fear, exposing lies and inspiring change. Your voice is that spark. As you speak your truth, you give others permission to do the same. You become a leader, a beacon for those lost in their own silence. Your voice is the beginning of justice, a force that cannot be silenced or ignored. They tried to break you, shatter your confidence, and erase your spirit. But what they broke only made you stronger. Brokenness is not weakness. It is the birthplace of power, wisdom, and transformation. Your fractures are proof that you survived what others could not. They shaped your character, deepened your empathy, and sharpened your resolve. This power born from brokenness is unique and unstoppable. It carries the lessons of pain and the hope of healing. You are living proof that the broken can become whole, stronger than before, and ready to face any challenge. Your power is the gift of survival and the promise of justice. Chains symbolize captivity, control, and oppression. They used chains, whether of lies, betrayal, or pain, to hold you down. But those very chains have transformed into wings, lifting you higher than they ever imagined. What once bound you now propels you forward. The weight of their cruelty has become the momentum for your rise. Your wings are made of courage, resilience, and unbreakable spirit. They carry you above the chaos, above the pain, and into a future they cannot touch. They underestimated the power of transformation, the ability to turn imprisonment into freedom. Now you soar, and those who chained you will only watch as you rise. The past is often seen as a chain, holding us captive to mistakes and pain.